Hey YouTubers, it's Valerie with Money Mindset Coach, and I just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Um, I have to say, in my life, I always wanted to be a mom. That was a very important thing to me. And deep down, when you think about it, if you don't become a mom, you can't become a grandmother. And I am a grandmother too. And so I am extremely, extremely thankful for my three boys. I'm really extremely thankful for my grandchildren. And there is just nothing better. And, I think a lot of times we want to know what is our purpose in life? What were we put on life, on earth to do? And I truly always felt that when you have children, your family lifeline goes on, and you continue, to your family goes on in forever. And I mean, a lot of people do not get into genealogy, who they're related to, where they came from. My sister has done a lot of the ancestry.com. She's found out a lot about our family, and I really appreciate her doing that. But I've always cared about that kind of thing. And I always felt that when you had a child, that would be your way of saying, I was here. And there's a part of me that continues to go on. Nowadays, it's not that big of a deal for when people get married. It seems to be very trending that women don't take their husband's name. They keep their own name. And that's a new one for me, I have to say. That was the other thing that I always thought about with getting married. You know how when you were interested in a boy, you'd write your first name and their last name to see what it looked like together. What did it sound like? What would your name sound like? Stuff like that. I remember doing that. It mattered to me what the last name was, to whether I liked the last name and would I want that as a last name. That was just how it was back then. It doesn't seem to be so much like that now. And so that has changed. So then when you look at a genealogy, it can be a little bit more complicated because women are not taking their husband's name. It used to be the wife took the husband's name, and then all the kids had the same name. It's not like that anymore. It's very different. I've really worked at getting used to that idea. It's not easy. I'm a real traditional person, so that was foreign to me. I understand it. I totally do. Here I am, a divorced person. I still have my married name, even though we are not married anymore. Have I ever thought about that? Yeah, I have. I've thought about that. I've thought about, okay, what do I want to do now? Do I want to keep that name? Well, that name is the same last name that my boys have. So do I want that same name? I don't know. But I didn't want to go back to my maiden name. I didn't want to do that. It was a whole thing. But that is not what I'm here to talk about. Okay? I wanted to wish you all happy Mother's Day out there. I so appreciate anybody stopping by. But this is something that I actually was reading a book. It was the book on How to Know Someone by David Brooks. And I'm reading through it the second time. And I'm finding some interesting things, and I'm actually seeing some things that I didn't see the first time. So basically, I read the chapter this morning about depression, like severe depression, and how do you help someone that you know in your life that has a severe depression? What do you do? Well, one of the things that he talked about was, he said that someone who is severely depressed, they don't want you to say, well, you'll get over it, things will get better, things will be brighter, because to them, when you say that, and I have said that, it basically makes them look at that, and what they think is, they don't get it. They don't really get what's going on with me. So this one guy who actually did kill himself, it was so sad, but his brother, over a period of the years that his brother was very depressed, traveled to a lot of different countries and sent his brother 700 postcards. And it got me to thinking, because I don't think a lot of us think about postcards anymore. And so I started looking into postcards, because what this guy did is he sent these postcards to his brother, and it wasn't like you have to respond with a postcard. When you get a postcard from somebody, they are somewhere and they're sending this postcard to say hi. Here's where I am, this is what I'm doing, but you don't write back to them, not like getting a letter. A postcard is just a nice little communication, but no response needed. But that person who gets the postcard actually feels good, because the person who sent it actually thought of them. It's a thoughtful thing to do. And so I started looking at postcards. It's kind of a roundabout way to get to them. But I just Googled to see if postcards still exist, because I don't even remember the last time that I actually saw them in the store. I don't even know. But anyway, postcards do still exist and are not a relic of the past like letter writing is. Though popularity has kind of decreased, can I remember the last time I sent a postcard? Very long time ago, if ever. But they're still sold and they're sent, especially for special occasions, unique keepsakes. I would say if you get a postcard from somebody, I don't think you're going to throw that away. I don't think you would. I think you'd want to keep that as a keepsake. I tend to do that. I tend to keep cards that people send me, the birthday cards that my mom and dad sent me. Now that they're both gone, I have those birthday cards. And I love to see my mom's handwriting. And I don't ever want to get rid of that. So I have kept things like that. But this is how postcards are still relevant. Nostalgia and sentimental value. For many, sending and receiving postcards evokes a sense of nostalgia and connection. The physical nature of a postcard, with its handwritten message, can feel more personal than an email or a text. Absolutely. People don't write anymore with their hand. Kids aren't taught cursive in school anymore. I still don't understand how they're supposed to have a signature if they don't learn cursive, because that is how you sign your name. You don't print your name. You sign your name with cursive. I always thought, wow, I'm grown up. I am writing like my mom and dad do. I felt like it was a very adult thing to do. So it really bothers me that it's not taught in some schools. Some schools still teach it, but a lot of them don't. Travel keepsakes. Postcards are a popular way for travelers to share their experiences. and create lasting memories of their trips. I definitely see that. That's what I always thought when I think of postcards. Marketing and promotion, but businesses still use postcards for marketing purposes, leveraging the unique nature of physical mail to stand out from digital advertising. That's very true. That's very true. Actually, a restaurant here in town had a fabulous idea. Speaking of advertising, they ask if it's a restaurant here in town, and they ask if there were any businesses in town that actually had mugs with their store name on it. And they wanted some of their mugs, and then when they would serve meals and serve coffee, they would rotate and use these different mugs which advertised the business in town. I thought that was ingenious. And sure enough, the store that I work for, we have mugs that have our name on them. So I am sure we're probably going to do that, but that was advertising. And that was an innovative way to advertise. There's lots of different ways to do it. Post-crossing and collecting. Post-crossing, a project that facilitates the exchange of postcards worldwide. It demonstrates a continuing interest in postcard-based communication and collecting. Yeah, that's interesting. Special occasions. Postcards can be used for creative wedding invitations. Usually, I think when you get the thing that says save the date, I think that is a postcard. Yeah, I think it is. But creative wedding invitations, thank you notes, or holiday greetings added a unique touch to these occasions. It doesn't always have to be a card with an envelope. It can be an actual postcard. Unique stamps and postmarks. Some individuals enjoy sending postcards to themselves. That's interesting. Or friends to obtain unique stamps or postmarks. I hadn't thought about that. While postcards might not be ubiquitous as they once were, they still hold value as a tangible form of communication, a souvenir of travel, or a creative way to connect with others. I am always looking for the old way that we used to do things. I know that email and text and cell phones, they seem to be the way of the 21st century, but I still cling to some of the old ways of doing things. And I really, truly feel like we've lost some of those things. We have lost the art of letter writing. People don't do it anymore. People don't send Christmas cards anymore. And I have to say I'm one of them. I used to do it all the time when my kids were growing up, when I would get the school pictures. I would put little pictures of my kids inside the postcards, and I would send them to my aunts and uncles, to my grandparents if they were still living. Friends and family and stuff like that. People don't do that anymore. It used to be a big deal. I remember, I'm thinking maybe my brother, I remember there being this big notebook, and you could look after page after page after page of these beautiful Christmas cards. I remember that being a big thing. Picking out your Christmas card every year. That was a big deal. People don't send Christmas cards anymore. I think maybe this next year, maybe I will do that. Maybe I will send some postcards, but I do think that some of these things are just completely getting lost. Cursive writing. What's up with that? somebody said something on Facebook where they said that if you write in cursive to your kid who didn't learn to write in cursive, it looks like a code to them and they can't read it. I remember the last time I was in one of the malls in St. Louis. I was in there with my son. It was cold outside because we'll always walk in the mall when it's cold, and we were talking about that. And so then we started looking at the logos of the stores, the signs in the window. We started looking, and some were in cursive still, but a lot of them were print. And what about calligraphy? You know, it's like, whatever happened to beautiful handwriting? I never learned calligraphy, but I always thought that it was beautiful. Now you go to Microsoft Word and you can pick out, the script you want to use. Nah, I don't like that. But anyway, that's the end of that. Now, this is something I got in the mail yesterday. Really, really annoys me because it had the envelope had a window in it, and I don't know if you can see that. No, you probably can't. But right in the window it says due by May 15th, 2025. So I get this thing in the mail and I see the due by. Well, it's making me think, is this a bill? Because when you see the due by, what do? You open it up. And that is exactly what they wanted me to do, because I didn't want to ignore a possible bill, even though I did think it was a little strange that it was green. It did. But this is what it was. It says, Dear Valerie, please contact our office, and there's a phone number, within 5 days of receiving this letter regarding your home located at such and such street. Our records indicate that you have not contacted us yet to get your home warranty up to date. I don't have a home warranty, but they are assuming that I do. Our firm is notifying you that you may have a home warranty policy that would expire on 5/16/2025. I don't know where that date even comes from. I really don't know. You may qualify to extend coverage for up to 3 years. Failure to call, asterisk, asterisk on either side. Failure to call. Failure to call and prevent a lapse of coverage will result in you being liable for all costs associated with any home repair. It is important for you to contact our firm at such and such number within 5 days of receiving this notice to avoid any lapses or delays in coverage. We reserve the right to revoke your eligibility for service coverage after 5 days. Call immediately in capital letters, as this will be our final, capital letters, attempt, capital letters, to notify you, all capital letters, and the phone number again. Okay? Respond by 5/16/2025. The phone number again. Operating hours, Monday through Friday. They're even open on Saturday. That's interesting. And then down at the bottom, it shows Trinity Home Advisors, blah, 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 blah. Really annoys me when I get stuff like this. It annoys me that they put Dubai, so I opened it up. And then it really bothered me when they are trying to tell me that I have a home warranty. There are elderly people that get stuff in the mail. They might have gotten this, and they may be thinking that they have a home warranty. Oh, they can't let that lapse. Let's do that. Actually, I should probably call the number. Yeah. Dang. It's too late to do it now. Maybe I could do that as part of a video. I would love that. I would love that. Now, I did have a home warranty when I first moved into this house. I actually asked for it in the negotiations, and I think it's American Home Shield. I had them for a couple years at the house that I sold in Illinois. My daughter-in-law has a home warranty. I'm not saying home warranties are bad. I'm not saying that. I actually saved a lot of money with a plumbing issue that I had in the house that I had before this one. I did. I think that they can be useful at times. It depends on your financial situation, you know. It depends on a lot of things. I'm not saying that they're all bad. There are some that are better than others. So, but what bothers me is the Dubai date, me opening it up because I thought it was a bill. That's a ploy on their part. And then me reading and have them putting the number in here at least 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times they give me the number. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to throw this away. I think I'm going to call the number. I'm going to call the number and I'm going to tell them what I think of this type of communication in the mail. I am. I think I will do that. But that just bothers me. Don't fall for it. You know, some of you have probably already gotten this and opened it up just like me. But if you don't want a home warranty, don't buy one. I just hate that kind of communication. And I got to tell you, well, and I think the envelope didn't even show the return address, and that should have given me a clue right there. Yeah, that should have given me a clue. Because if they were a legit business, they would have put their return address, and then I would have seen who they were. Yeah, I don't tend to open anything, so I'm really surprised that I opened that. Shouldn't have done that. Anyway, like I always say, well, if you found value in this video, please like it, share it, comment. Have you gotten anything like this in the mail? What are you doing for Mother's Day? I am going to church with my oldest son tomorrow morning, and my boyfriend's mother is 90 years old, actually 90 and a half. I think we're going to be getting together with her. I know I definitely want to see her. I'm so excited. I lost my mother 12 years ago, so I'm so excited that for the last 9 years I have had my boyfriend's mother to be there and to help celebrate, because I love her very much. So I don't know exactly what we're doing there, but then on Tuesday I am meeting with my middle son and my youngest son, and we are seeing my grandson, and then we are going hiking if the weather cooperates, which I think it's supposed to. We're going to go for a hike in the state park that's really close to where my grandson lives. So I'm going to have time with my kids. And that's the most important thing. It's just time with your kids. So, like I always say, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Till next time, bye.